أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. Again, we are grateful to God for giving us this opportunity. And again, this is not by accident. This is only by divine design and providence that we are here today. And God has honored us with this huge occasion. And so we should be accordingly grateful to God for this opportunity and this huge blessing that we have today, that we can actually get our that we are getting our house in order, basically, and become a better servant of God. And that should be our ultimate goal. And this is a unique opportunity that in that pathway towards God, which is the straight path, and we have to follow it. That's God's path, and there are no other paths that we can actually take. So we should be always cognizant of that fact. So gratefulness and appreciativeness is a godlike quality, and we have to follow it and actually respond in kind to this huge honor that He has given us. He's always grateful to us, and so we should be also grateful to Him, because everything that we have is from God. And if we wanted to count God's blessings upon us, we would run out of numbers. There's no way we can do that. Okay, so so God has given us this temporary life, and this is for our test, and God has given us another chance, and so we should take advantage of this and make ourselves better and become a devoted and a good servant of God, and we all go back to Him, and that's the path that everybody is going to take. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to just go ahead and read chapter 87, and the Exalted, Al-A'la. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the All-Gracious, the All-Merciful, glorify constantly in the name of your Lord, the Exalted. The one who created, then balanced, and the one who exactly measured, then guided, and the one who brings out the pasture, then He turns it into dark, dead leaves. We will recite to you, therefore do not forget. Everything is in accordance with God's will. He indeed knows the obvious as well as the hidden, and will make it easy for you. Therefore, keep on reminding, for the reminder may be beneficial. The reminder will be received only by those who are reverent, and avoiding it is the utmost evildoer. This is the one who will enter the great fire, and he neither dies therein nor stays alive. Surely success belongs to the one who gives the cleansing charity and commemorates the name of his Lord and observes the contact prayer. Yet you prefer this worldly life, while the hereafter is far better and everlasting. Indeed, this is so recorded in the ancient scrolls, the scrolls of Abraham and Moses. Okay, so much we learn from this surah. 19 verses, okay, and ends with 87:19. 19 is a prime number verse. 16/10th prime number verse from the beginning of the Quran. Okay, so these are all counted. Okay, so God has counted all of these things, and So we'll go back to the beginning of this verse in Surah. Sorry. Glorify constantly the name of your Lord, be exalted. Okay? This doesn't have to be loud. It can be in your heart. You can do that all the time. Nobody is watching you. Okay? Only God knows that. Okay. So who is this God? The one who created, then balanced. Okay? Look at the word, the Arabic. Alladhi khalaqa fa sawwa. Fa in Arabic means then. Okay? Afterwards. The one who created, then balanced. Okay? An event that happened, the event of creation, balance did not exist. Mathematical equations did not exist. So this is the information that God gives us. And then people are still fascinated with this physicist and that physicist and all kinds of stuff. Don't be fooled by those things. Right? Those are those worldly knowledge. What comes from the scripture is far better. It's the correct information that God gives you. The laws of equivalence was inspired into this lowest universe and the other ones. Okay? That's what God did. They behave according to mathematical equations. But they were not created so. So you would not be trapped in this rotating wheel that you just keep on going, like a hamster, that goes around and around in a wheel. So what was before that? Well, there were two things that collided. They also collided based on mathematical equations. So this universe was created or started. Well, what about those two other universes? Well, we don't know. Maybe the other universes collided. So you just keep on going like this. You're fooling yourself. Okay? He gives you information in 87.2. Okay. Now, you take it or you throw it out, and you're still fascinated with the Big Bang Theory. Okay. And there's a show on TV, and people are fascinated with that too. And the one who exactly measured then guided. Okay. There's no approximation in God's measurement. They're exact. Numbers are exact. Okay. Numbers are exact. The one who brings out the pasture, he is the one who brings the plants out of the ground. And then what happens to it? The fall comes in there, and then he turns it into dark, dead leaves. In the autumn, all the trees, so God has given you all of this information, and he says what his will is. This is his will. We will recite you, therefore do not forget. Everything is in accordance with God's will. He indeed knows the obvious as well as the hidden. He doesn't need to listen to me or to some other guy to tell him what to do and what not to do. He knows it. So be humble. Let God handle things. Then God says, and we will make it easy for you. Okay? God will ease your task somehow, and I don't know how. Every individual, they have their own problem. I don't know what they are, only God knows it. And God is the one who's going to make it easy for you according to your situation, which is completely different from every other part of creation that God has created. Okay? And we don't know the extent of it. Therefore, keep on reminding, for the reminder may be beneficial. Tell them. Don't be rude. Tell them. Maybe it's going to do some good. Says, and avoiding it, the reminder will be received only by those who are reverent. So the guys who have God's fear in their hearts. And you don't know who they are. I don't know it. Nobody knows. Only God knows. A person who actually embraces this, okay, is the guy who was reverent. And avoiding it is the utmost evildoer. He runs away from it, he or she. They run away from it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to log into this thing and hear this surah. They have better things to do at this time. Okay, and they see the consequences immediately after the Jummah prayers. Things would not work for them. Okay, who is this guy? This is the one who will enter the great fire. More information. Then he neither dies therein nor stays alive. Another state of existence. It's so scary. It's not living, it's not death, it's not life, it's not death, it's something else. I've been saying this for so many years now about the states of existence. Okay. That's the amazing part. He tells you about the states of existence. And we know two of them only. We know living and dead. The living and the dead. That's all we know. We don't know of the other states of existence, what they are. We have no idea. But he tells you that hell is a place that you are neither living nor you're dead. You're something else. And he warned us about it. So we had so much information. So who are the successful ones? Surely success belongs to the one who gives the cleansing charity. Okay. So much stress on this. Feed the poor and the needy. They are hungry. Very small amount of percentage of your money. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay? But it's a test. Okay? The guy who's making $1,000 is going to pay $25. Okay? The guy who's making $1 million is going to now pay $25,000. Now that's a lot of money, my friends, isn't it? Okay? Then when the stinginess comes in, why should I do that? I pay taxes. I do this. Okay? All kinds of excuses not to feed the poor and the needy. And commemorates the name of his Lord and advocates the contact prayer. So much stress on the contact prayer. The best thing that could happen to you during the contact prayer is the commemoration of God. The greatest thing that could happen to you during contact prayer is commemoration of God. Yet, we all try to somehow circle around it, bypass it somehow. This 15 minutes of your daily life, you have 24 hours is 1,414 minutes. Think about it. 1,440 minutes. And all that God is asking is 15 minutes of that. Make contact with me. Okay? And yet we try to have this encirclement around this issue. Becomes a huge problem. Okay? Let's cut the numbers. Show them all kinds of reasons why it's supposed to be 5, why it's supposed to be 17 rakah, why it's supposed to be 29 words, why it's supposed to be 139 letters, Arabic letters, all kinds of excuses. Why can't we do it in our own language? All kinds of excuses come in because they don't want to do it. That's why. Okay? And then God says, yet you prefer this worldly life. They all care about this worldly life. They all want to have the life of Methuselah or Noah. Okay? The longest life in the Quran is the lifespan of Noah. Okay? That God is mentioning to us. 1,000 years minus 50. They all want to live that long. Okay. But yet they have to go back. And Noah had to go back. Noah was on the tunnel because this universe, based on time, based on those fasawa, okay, based on the mathematical equations, is going to have an end. The time is going to rip apart, and it's going to have an edge. It's going to have an end. Okay. While the hereafter is far better and everlasting. God says, look, you are selling this temporary thing for eternity. Don't do this. It's not worth it. Okay. Indeed, this is so recorded in the ancient scrolls, the scrolls of Abraham and Moses. Okay. All kinds of excuses. There's a competition between Quran and the Old Testament. Old Testament has all these mistakes in it. Okay. But Quran doesn't have any mistakes in it. Okay. Come on, guys. Okay. Stop these kind of childish stuff. These are juvenile type of things. God says don't do that. When you argue with him, do it in the best possible manner. And all there is to it, which side can put the other side down. So they can basically rob their own egos. You should do this for the sake of God. You should remind him in the most gentle way. Okay? Read the Quran and see what the Quran says. Obey the word of God. If you don't do that, we are going to be just as bad as everybody else that we keep criticizing. Okay. 19 verses. So much information in there, and we ignore it. We don't take it to heart. We ignore the information. Information which is scientific, which is factual, which God is telling us exactly what you should do. He tells us the facts. He says, look, this message is going to be embraced by those who have God's fear in their hearts. And it's going to be rejected by those. And they just, as I said, they run away. This is the time we just read chapter 87 in this book. Okay? And a lot of people don't want to hear it. Well, this excuse and that excuse. Because it tells them the facts. God is telling the truth. And they don't want to hear it. Okay. I'm going to stop here. Allah